Welcome to episode 46 of the Webcomic Beacon Presents first issue.
I'm Marcus.
I'm Melissa.
And I'm Fes, and this cold is giving me a different voice some reason. And this is Voodoo, #1 from DC Comics.
I suppose it is.
Voodoo, this cover, it's
actually not a bad cover.
It isn't. I was trying to figure out whether that was her hand or someone else's behind her.
Right.
And the given the content of the comic that we're about to review, I'd say it shows surprising restraint that there are no tits on this cover.
And actually, the nice thing, though, thinking about that, is that her facial expression tells you everything you need to know about the comic.
Yeah. Because
she's literally kind of doing like, "Oh, give it to me, Daddy." You
know, no, she's not.
Yeah, she is. Okay.
No, look at her eyebrows.
They're kind of furrowed.
It's tensed up. You can tell there's something more there going on. It doesn't seem. I didn't get the alluring thing on there. It's like she seemed a little bit more conflicted, but I guess still like vulnerable in some way. It's a to me, it gets a little bit more curious. I really liked this cover. I like the lighting, the coloring. Mm-hmm. It's just like this really sort of soft, sort of like, what is this?
It's very simple too. It's
I will say this comic gave me an idea that this comic is going to be better than it ultimately happened to be. Yeah. So we turn it up and we get tits! Tits.
Why aren't they naked? That's what I'm going to say every time we turn the page. Because to me, this... And really, this story, like you were saying before we started airing, Melissa, could have been done in about 4 pages, and then there should have been 18 pages of fucking. It's
only rated teen plus.
Why?
Whatever that means.
Why?
I don't know. What age is teen plus?
I don't know, and I don't care, because it should be higher. To me, no, and not because I think that the content warrants that. I think the content is too tame. Because if you're going to make a titty comic, make a titty comic. Don't bullshit and half do it like they've been doing before. Like, just put it in a nice little plastic wrap. Say this is M for mature, adults only, or whatever the equivalent that they have there. And make it, just naked breasts everywhere. That's fine. It's not my thing, but hey, do it. That's what you're there for. That's what people would theoretically buy this for. And she does take her top off several times within it, but they always tastefully move her arm in the way, or there's something just barely out.
That's
why. And there's an art to the burlesque, and there's kind of a fun thing. It's like, oh, there's a lamp in front of it, and now it's a shoe, and there's a certain amount of fun to that. But
not here.
Not here. It's kind of
really. I disagree.
But I find it amusing that there's cleavage, I think, on every single page of this comic.
Oh, yeah.
And
which makes me wonder, why aren't there nipples on every single page of this comic?
Well,
that would make more sense.
Now, to be fair, it is a comic about a stripper.
Yeah.
But
which makes me wonder, if it's a comic about a stripper, why the fuck are you pretending this is Teen Plus?
Yeah, it's just...
Well, I was thinking that this thing, even as it existed with how much just going on, it's not just so much what is shown, it's also the situation, especially when you get towards the end, where there's a lap dance, and it's like, this is a bit much. I mean, are comic book stores making sure that the 12-year-old's not getting this?
They don't get, dude.
I would not sell this to anyone below 16.
I would give it to a 12-year-old. That's what the fuck they bought it for. When I was 12, we would... Dude, kids always get into porn, especially now.
Yeah.
Good God. If you haven't seen porn by the time you turn 12, it's because you're either homeschooled and homeschooled and obedient towards your parents, mind you.
Yeah.
Because homeschooled kids can get freaky. So, you have to be homeschooled and obedient towards your parents and their way of life, or you have your parents put some sort of filter on the internet, and they don't have Cinemax. And they don't have any of the other channels where you might get a chance once in a while.
And
they get basic cable. Yeah, and they don't have friends who have access to anything else. So,
and your local library doesn't have the internet.
Yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. Like, to me, I don't really have much of a problem with sex as a concept, especially in media, because I find that we're far too clamping down on sexuality as opposed to violence, and the issue that I have with that is it causes things like the Starfire deal, where you have this thing where, okay, this character is clearly for a porno, but you have to throw her into the middle of this action-adventure thing to make it acceptable, and it's like, No. Make a porno comic. Just like this one. It's like, why is this not porn?
Well,
that to me is a wasted opportunity because, you know what? People are going to want it. Now, granted, there are easier ways to get it.
There are.
I've always said. But if that's your deal, Xenoscope does it, like I keep saying. Xenoscope does it on a monthly basis. Why can't DC be honest and just make a porn comic? It's all right. Just call it that.
You know, I wouldn't be totally against that if they, if it's, you come right out versus
you gotta come out and say, don't pretend it's a fucking superhero.
Versus like just the gratuitousness for gratuitousness because you want to be titillating.
Yeah.
To get people, no, it's like that doesn't work anymore.
Put it where it goes.
But I did actually, trying to actually talk about the comic.
Right.
I did actually like what was going on. We got the scene.
Yeah.
It's set up. There's the stripper. We're assuming it's Voodoo from it's Voodoo,
chick.
and she's not talking. She's doing what a stripper does. It's like there's not much need for you can't just force character development here. And then we cut to this couple of people,
Mulder and Scully.
Mulder and Scully here, and we get that. They're supposed to be keeping an eye on this girl, investigating her, and the guy's like, well, we're watching her.
Yeah, it's like, come on, we're watching her now, ain't we?
And of
Aren't you
course,
having a good time? It's like, no, I'm straight. And like, oh, well, too bad for you.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering why, she's clearly in business wear, but her first button is about here, and
we do see
once again,
that's not business casual in most places.
Once again, this is a comic we're dealing with, though, so I'm wondering why her shirt isn't all the way open, and she's not like blowing him, because really, what the fuck not? I mean, like they're not really putting a whole lot of stock into realism.
And I don't like how she's not too overly. She's not the whole like, oh, you're deplorable and all that. It's like she seems to be acting professional, but still like how she should be reacting.
I actually like her characterization.
Yeah, and he's just kind of, and the guy's just kind of there like having a time. But he's also the next page, and he's getting some information. He's doing what his job is supposed to be doing, and the other girl's still dancing and doing everything. And she's getting money and all that because she's really good and people like her and she finds out that her name is Priscilla, or at least that's what she says it is.
Yeah, because apparently whoever the top stripper is in the club gets to take the name Voodoo. Because the name of the club is a Voodoo Club.
Yeah, that was confusing to me.
Yeah, I thought that was a little unnecessary, but I was like,
so it's like
whatever.
Doctor Who,
Yeah, it was the Doctor. Whoever is the main character of this show is going to be the Doctor.
Yeah.
So we got... she exits and she butts through a couple of not legal kids trying to get in, obviously.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
requisite violence ensues because this is a superhero book and there has to be some sort of action.
Well, they're investigators. They're like secret agents or something like that.
Well, they're not being very secret.
Well, no. Well, I blame him, but it's like
he didn't punch her first. She punches him in the face.
No, I was
first.
talking about like her partner.
Oh, yeah.
What you were talking
I don't give a shit about him.
But yeah, it's like these douchebags are just following this guy. It's like what? Well, first of all, it's like they look pretty old to not be legally able to get in there.
Keep in mind that this is comic books. They don't know how to draw anyone under 32. Everyone is 32. Precisely 32, and no younger, except for specialty people. Like Teen Titans, they did a good job. There's certain people who can do it. Jim Lee is amazing at it, for example. However, 99% of the time, you're going to have to kind of either get fucking reference or accept it's just like understand that everyone's going to look 32.
I don't know. I like how she's like this professional badass and just kicks ass. I really like this character.
I like her a lot. She doesn't seem to belong here.
Yeah. Then we cut back to...
So I guess that's the point.
The strippers are the stripper changing room, and
there's no titties in the stripper changing room.
And they're having a stripper conference.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is how like the stripper back room actually seems, but
I don't think they care. They shouldn't care. They should all be doing each other.
What?
Yeah.
Anyway,
because it should be a porno comic is my point. So every time I see these situations,
all right, so
perfect opportunity wasted.
In any case, it does seem all right to me as far as, a lot of them they're talking about this or that, and then this one girl is asking if anybody can babysit her kids so that she can work, because a lot of strippers, they're there for the money. They need to support their kids or go through college or whatever.
It's interesting to me that this whole setup seems to be that, we can actually write female characters that have personalities as long as they're scantily clad.
Yeah.
Well, there's that. Well, I would look at it as like, okay, they're being gratuitous, and now they're giving them a little bit more personality.
They're trying to make it feel bad.
Still being gratuitous.
Yeah,
True, but they are. The placement. See, the placement is correct. It's not like
no, it isn't. That's the problem.
They're in a strip club.
No,
that's scene.
No, I'm talking about the humanization. In a porno comic, that's the wrong fucking place for humanization.
Anyway, yes, it's gratuitous. Yes, I understand that, but they're also in the place for it. So there are. I don't know if anyone is giving names in here, so I can't say if the Bechdel test.
I wouldn't read it again to find out.
So then they're asking if Voodoo or Priscilla can look after her kids, and we get a little bit of character development, just a little bit of character development with her, and where she's saying, it's like, I don't really work well with kids, and there's a lot of writing, not just in her speech, but in her expressions, that this is an uncomfortable thing for her, and she's just kind of passing through. She's, she's not saying a whole lot with her words, but she is saying a lot with her expressions. I would have to say, I don't know if this is me projecting more personality into her, or if this is personality coming out, but I've been liking this comic so far up to this point, giving some passes, just giving it a chance, not trying to jump down its throat. And we find out that Mulder is basically asked for her for a lap dance.
Yeah, which makes sense if you're trying to get information from her.
Yeah, but
they
also,
don't fuck.
Well, that's not the point.
What the hell?
He's not. He's likely not supposed to be doing this.
He even tells her, like, "Oh yeah, I shouldn't even be doing this for what my job is."
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Yeah, true.
But, I mean, you get a really nice, sexy scene going on, and that is fine, and it's seeming all right, because it's kind of moving forward at this point. But once he starts getting into what he's really doing, that he's investigating you, we think you're an alien, all these sorts of things. We think you're going to take over the planet, or you're a scout.
And he goes through telling her what all her powers are supposed to be according to their research.
Yeah, and she just keeps on stripping like.
Well, to be fair, if you're trying to keep your cover, would you like suddenly react and be like, "Filthy human"?
No, but I think it was
I wanted to turn into Donald Sutherland from Invasion of the Body Snatcher.
Yeah, that would have been great.
So,
I would have, yeah.
But, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of nice. I mean, it's a teen plus. It is meant for an older audience, and it is a strip club, so the scene is fine because this is what would happen. A lot of sexy of drawing and posing because it's a fucking lap dance. But then he's just starting getting to describe all this stuff, and she's still going at it. No, an actual stripper would be like,
what?
Boss!
Yeah. It's like, this guy's being creepy. He touched my leg once.
Yeah.
Gave him a warning, and now he's saying creepy shit.
Yeah, no, it's like...
And, like, projects, like, the mental image of herself being dissected.
No, I don't think he's projecting. I actually think... Because she's telling him to look at her. So I think she's reading her thoughts.
Yeah, but the thing that I don't understand is that he's phrasing all of this as a threat. And did you really expect her to actually react well?
Yeah, this is not how you deal with a potential...
I think we're getting into spoiler territory.
We're almost...
Well, it's not any more spoilery than the fact that is this a spoiler?
Yeah, I think it's a spoiler.
Okay, so after she... Or he... Something where there's a mind connection of something going on, and she freaks out, and he's all like, well, what's it going to be? And then, the pages we can't talk about because it's spoilerish.
Spoiler time.
But we do get a little bit of like, what the fuck was that?
Well, especially the last page, because based on the first part we can't show you, the last part we can't show you doesn't make any sense.
Well,
unless there's something else going on.
Well, we can say it ends with...
He needs a full metal decoy.
We can say it ends with Voodoo leaving the place and saying, I quit. And then I question... The ending leaves me a question. It's like,
what did we watch?
Are we not having any more stripping stuff after this? It's like, where is this? What?
That tends to be my entire reaction to
this.
It's just...
As number one.
I give it a meh because I think it actually does a fairly good job of establishing its story and establishing its characters, but boy, it's not tight storytelling.
No.
And yeah, it could have been accomplished in half the time, and wow, I just can't. Yeah.
I give it a meh purely because, okay, full disclosure, not into chicks, so this is like 99% of this is just boring, okay, la 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 la, yeah, and the entire story could have been fit in about 4 pages.
Yeah, Marcus and I are totally not the target audience.
Yeah, so
I'll just say that right now.
So just reading it, I'm like, okay, you've got 2 comics here, and you try to mush them together. You have a porno comic, which would be fine on its own, and you have an alien invasion body snatcher kind of comic that could have been all on its own. Possibly has something to do with the aliens from, what was it called, that other thing, Grifter. Mm-hmm. It may, because they have the same kind of deal where you can't tell where they are.
Yeah.
Who knows? But the problem I had was, like, you should probably go one way or the other. When you try to mix them, it's sort of like when you see a porno that's attempting to have a story, and it attempts so long that you're just like, this is not what I'm here for. Shut the fuck up. And that's a feeling that I had with it, because I'm like, okay, you know, ironically, the parts where there are all the, you know, titties, I'm just like, I get it. It's not for me, but I get it. So, from the mindset that it is for me, let's pretend. Well, cool. Why aren't any of these people naked? And then at the end, it's like, what the fuck is all this talking? And why are you trying to put action in here? I don't give a shit. If this was the kind of thing I'd be into, it'd be like, look, do porn, or do a story. Don't try to mix the two like you're being coy, you know, it's ridiculous.
I think there are ways to do stories on a sexy level. I mean, like in the 80s, there was The Hidden, which also involved a stripper and aliens and things like that.
Or even Species pulled that off a little bit. Well, it's not great.
Species is so trashy.
Yeah, but at least it's honest.
Yeah,
it's honest that it's trash.
That's true. But, you know, there are ways to do it, and I think this just feels like 2 different things that are just... They're trying to smash it together.
It's 2 great tastes that don't taste great together. One is spaghetti, one is milk chocolate. It's like, no, don't put these together separately. They're delicious.
Okay. So I'm going to give this... I do got to give this some meh. I want to say I'm the target audience, but I'm 31. The target audience is for people that this is rated not for. But I was on board for a lot of it. The last 4 pages killed me. Because, well, last maybe 5 pages.
Whatever.
It just wasn't...
8 with ads.
Well, okay, fine. Anyway,
yeah.
But I would tell you, it's borderline succeeds for me. It was very. The last 4 pages kind of make me not like it a little bit. And the first part's just okay. I was giving it a pass for stuff because the setting calls for it, and I thought it was working out pretty well. It could have been done better. But, you know, this is you know, a mainstream Marvel and DC mainstream comic books. I can only ask for so much.
Well, that's the problem. It shouldn't be listed as part of their mainstream comics.
Right. I mean, maybe if it wasn't underneath the DC New 52 line, maybe it would have been a little bit better. Or maybe if like a more indie a group tried to do a sort of like stripper storyline with X-Files stuff sort of in it, it might have been really good. The premise, a lot of the pieces had potential. It just seemed to fall apart, so I have to give it a borderline succeed. But that is Voodoo #1 from DC Comics.